My friends have gotten into lifting and they just don't adjust their clothing as they grow, so their pants are just like really tight, and I'm like, dude, like, you look great, you're getting bigger, all the power to you, but like your pants need to get bigger.
The fashion industry is superficial and materialistic.
I think just because like fashion is something that we wear and like that's the exterior doesn't mean it's superficial. I think it can be a way to express your inner emotions. So that's why I disagree.
I'm neutral because I feel like there's an art form to it, but also it's really commercialized, and just with like a lot of the fast fashion, it can get really materialistic, especially with like the trend cycles and how fast they move.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's like a line to it. Like, I get most of my clothes thrifting, and I think once you start getting stuff that just you're buying for it because it's super expensive or it has like some brand associated with it, even though it's like not really what you wear or what you want to wear, then I think that's kind of where it gets commercialized and not really great.
Yeah, I'm neutral. I agree with what you just said. I think there is a line between overpriced items. Just because it's overpriced, it's not fashion. But yeah.
My style defines who I am.
I can start again. Honestly, it like depends like what I'm feeling that day, about what I'm wearing, but I don't think it defines who I am.
Yeah, I chose neutral too because I use clothes to express myself, not to define who I am. So it's like, it's hard to explain, but you are who you are doesn't, because I mean, when I go home from campus, I'm like in sweats all the time or whatever. That doesn't define who I am at the moment.
I feel like a way in like expressing yourself is like, at least to me, I use clothes when I do dress and I style myself, because I feel like it's how I feel on the inside, putting it to the outside world. So that's why I feel like it is kind of an expression of my identity. But at the same time, there are instances where I just wear like basic lounge clothes and that doesn't really have any connection to who I am.
Yeah, I feel like define is a strong word. That's why I'm only on agree. But I think once I started to find who I am and like what I like to do and gain confidence in myself was when I started wearing clothes that I liked and what I found I felt comfortable in, not only just like, you know, in terms of like, you know, ease of clothing, but just, you know, I felt good about myself wearing clothes that I felt were cool. And so that way, maybe not define myself, but it helped me find myself.
Baggy jeans are better than skinny jeans.
This is strongly agree, right? Okay, cool.
I think it's the same like two-side situation. I feel like it depends on how you style them. I feel like there's some, I like to usually, I mean, it depends on the cut of the jean, on like what top I pair it with, so.
No, I'm going here.
It's just, I think for me, it depends on the outfit that I'm wearing.
When I like think of skinny jeans now, I think of just like, I don't know, like those Forever 21, like super like
That's true.
like
Yeah.
hugging every inch of my leg. So I just feel like it's just not the vibe right now, and I feel like
When I say skinny, I don't mean like down to the ankle. I mean like not that far, but
yeah, I don't know. But like my whole thing is like if you're gonna do big bottom, small top, and then the opposite if you're gonna do like very like tight bottom, like a big top, but like seeing myself with like really skinny jeans and like a big top just like does not.
yeah. I would say when I style something that is like tighter and like I guess would be considered like a skinnier jean than a baggy one, I don't necessarily always balance it on top. I feel like it definitely, like I said, depends on the outfit and the footwear.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say the shoes matter,
Mm-hmm.
because like a little boot over the skinny jean moment, that's always cool.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm neutral.
Yeah.
It's all about the shoes for me.
I have a very strong opinion because one of my roommates always wears really fucking. Can I swear? Sorry. I don't know. He wears really fucking tight pants, and like it's like also an issue. Like a lot of my friends have gotten into lifting, and they just don't adjust their clothing as they grow, so their pants are just like really tight. And I'm like, dude, like you look great, you're getting bigger, all the power to you, but like your pants need to get bigger. So I don't know if that's necessarily like a skinny jean thing. I also think of like the early like maybe like 2010 when they had like that weird texture on the jeans. You know what I'm talking
like
about?
the like rib.
Yeah, like those were awful. Like I never want to see them come back.
Oh, awful.
Like I know this is probably gonna age not poorly because I feel like baggy and like tight go like every like 5 years they kind of go in and out of fashion. But like at least right now, I like the way baggy clothes look. But I don't know. I think especially dudes who get bigger should wear bigger pants.
I agree.
Sorry, Nathan.
Quiet luxury promotes elitism.
I'm just gonna hit it with a strongly disagree. I just like I don't really know. Like I mean I think it's really annoying when I see like especially like I went to Miami like 2 weeks ago and like in Miami it's very name brand and it's like whatever like bottom to top and like it was not my vibe and I think that like if you're actually like wealthy you don't need a name brand to like show other people that you're wealthy and I think it's better that way and it's classier.
I agree with
Keep it
the
short.
the flashiness of it all. I feel like without that component it is like a little bit more toned down so it's less showy and like less a display of wealth.
Do you have any opinions? What are you feeling?
Oh, you go first.
I guess like it depends. Like this is like if you're a quiet luxury kind of person, like it depends on what kind of quiet luxury you're buying. Like if you're buying like stuff for the sake of like it just being like expensive and you're waiting for someone to ask like, oh, like that looks nice, like and you're like, oh, like it's like actually expensive, or if you're buying it because it's like gonna last a long time or like really high quality and like I can get behind that, but like just spending money on clothes for the sake of spending money on clothes isn't like necessarily the best thing. It all depends on what your fashion is and if like you can't buy it somewhere else or if you're buying it expensive because it's like sustainable or not being made in a factory in China, then like that's cool, but like I don't know.
Like the motivation of it.
Yeah, there's like different things going into it.
Yeah, I agree. I also think like the t-shirts with the logos on it, people think just because they paid $400 for that, like you have money. Like I don't agree with that. But yeah. I like lost it, but
Yeah.
Fashion industry is inclusive. If we want to look at it like specifically in terms of like garments and like sizes, like the spectrum, or we can look at like representation on the runway.
I think it's getting more inclusive, like, day to day. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, Victoria's Secret fashion shows. And, like, it's canceled now because they were not being inclusive. But, like, sometimes it's just, like, the brand. Like, Brandy Melville and, like, Victoria's Secret. Like, it just kind of like that. So, like, I feel like people could be more inclusive. But, like, sometimes it's just, like... I don't know. I don't want to sound controversial.
That's why I picked
I
neutral,
don't
just
get
because I
comments.
feel like it's going in that direction, but there is still like brands like Brandy Melville that are doing the one size that isn't actually that inclusive and isn't one size fits all. So I feel like it's getting there, but there's still a lot of strides to be made in order to really include everyone in the fashion industry. And it also like, actually I think I might move to disagree because I feel like I've just heard especially a lot of plus size people talking about how they can't shop at the same websites or they have to go somewhere else and can't always be included in the trends because they don't find things that fit them. And I think that brands not catering to that makes it not inclusive. And if they're still having that issue, the fashion industry is not caught up to that.
I remember when that somebody came out and said they were like Victoria's Secret was not made for plus size women or something like that.
Yeah.
And although that may be true for them, I think that they could have done a better job incorporating it. So, I mean, all around, I think there's sectors of the fashion industry that are inclusive with body positivity and race, but there are a lot of brands that just stick to their one field. Even Lululemon, like the CEO of Lululemon was like, we don't make clothes for your people or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of crazy.
Like the first one that comes to mind that's very inclusive is like Rihanna's lingerie brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just feel like whenever I see like a runway show, like there's just like everything out
Even
there,
the
and I
models on
love
her
it.
website too.
Yeah.
Like you see every body
She
type.
just gets it.
Mhm.
That's a way to do it without, you don't have to, I mean, they think that they have to put it on like a big headline. Just
Yeah.
have the inclusivity so people can buy your stuff. I mean,
Right.
that's literally what you want to do, sell your stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I'm just here because I only really shop at thrift stores, so I just like there's a lot of big clothing there. I don't know. I don't look at online or anything, so I trust these guys.
Parents should be able to tell their teens to go upstairs and change out of that outfit.
Teen or kid?
Middle school to high schoolers.
Under 18.
Under 18.
I guess I'll start because I'm kind of on the opposite here. And my, like, kind of how I'm looking at it is, like, I feel like, especially for me, my teenage years is a big, like, kind of, like, going into myself and figuring out, like, how I wanted to, like present myself and what I wanted to wear. So I feel like having freedom in how I could dress was definitely a, like, propeller in me, like, understanding, like, who I am, what I like. And that sort of, like, understanding happened when I was in high school, so I feel like having that freedom really helped that. But I'm sure there's reasons why not.
I mean, I definitely could see both sides, but for me, like, sometimes I wish my parents were like, Anise, go change, because I'm, like, embarrassed looking back, but, like, I do feel like I needed those, like, horrific moments to, like, grow into myself and my style and, like, my confidence. But, like, sometimes it goes too far where, like, all right, like, do that shit in college, like, not in high school. I don't know, like, right now you're living in your parents' house, like, they can tell you what to do. They're paying for everything. So I don't know. That's my stance on it.
I mean, for me, I feel like it's a totally different scenario. I was just like one of those kids that wore shorts a lot. So, like, if I was, like, going to school and it was, like, 15 degrees in Boston, like, I feel like my mom had a right to be like, Christian, all right, like, put some pants on. Or if, like, we were going to church and I was still wearing said shorts and, like, a basketball jersey, like, maybe, like, you know, I probably should have put on nicer clothing.
I just thought of it as, like, I wouldn't be telling you to not express yourself. I'm just maybe saying that's not appropriate for where we're going or where you're going. 'Cause sometimes people wear inappropriate things. We gotta tell them to go upstairs and change. So,
Right.
yeah, I think parents should definitely be able to do that.
Yeah, the church thing stuck out to me. Yeah.
Okay. Coverage of like best dressed, worst dressed after like red carpet events are demeaning.
Okay.
I'll join.
I just want to be really controversial.
Let's hear it.
Honestly, like, these, like, fashion people, like, they put their work out there on these celebrities to, like, you put it on social media to get judged. So, like, if you're not doing it well, then there's going to be some backlash and, like, then fix it. Like, that's so blunt, but, like, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't-
I also think it's really not that deep and not really a reflection of the celebrity themselves, especially because they all have stylists. So, like, I feel like it's just fun. And I always look forward to seeing, like, when I watch, like, award shows, it's to see the outfits and to give my own opinion on it, mainly not even for the awards. So,
I think it could only be demeaning if the celebrity styled theirself. But just take that as, like, maybe I shouldn't do that next time. Maybe I shouldn't wear that color.
Mhm.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, I agree with you when you said these brands put these clothes on these people. And I don't think people are coming from the perspective or coming from, like, oh, you look fat in that, or that could have fit you better. Like, oh, no, they could have maybe made that better on you.
Right.
They could have styled you better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that sucks. Not you.
Right.
The outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just take it too personally, I think.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really watch anything. The only, like, context I have for this is, like, my mom watched, like, TMZ and when I was in high school or middle school, and, like, some of that stuff is kind of brutal. But, like, you know, I don't know. It depends on the people who are writing the articles and whatnot. I don't really read anything. I don't know if like Lady Gaga was out like in a meat suit, I'd be like, hella cool, you know. But like other people might not be into that. I don't. It depends on how they phrase it. Like you said, like if they were like attacking their body, and that's not okay. But if it was just like, oh, she looks cringe in that, then it's like, you know, whatever, it's fine.
And I feel like it's so, like, the meat dress, for example, like, that was looked at as, like, being so gross and such a bad, like, take at the time, but now it's, like, looked at as, like, being iconic. So I feel like if someone's really getting so upset about a critique, chances are that dress or that outfit might come back and be, like, something considered, like, timeless, so.
I feel like Lady Gaga is just
Like,
timeless. Like that has more
she
reflection on
is.
her.
Yeah.
I think people think about, there used to be a show called Fashion Police with Joan Rivers,
Okay.
and she used to be like, well, you look fat. And, I mean, she would have some good opinions on these outfits, but, like, sometimes she was being a comedian and not a real fashion critic. So I think for people's dark humor, I think people can be a little too demeaning on these actors who are not models, but they should go for more at the brand and the stylist.
Agree.
Corporate America fashion is bland, restrictive, and rigid.
Like, what they wear to work, like.
All right. Okay, I'll go first. I disagree. I think it's professional. I think people in corporate America have gotten too casual with their wear. Like, I've always loved, like, seeing a man in suit and, like, seeing a woman in, like, whatever, slacks and, like, a suit set. Like, I live for that, and I feel like you're in a work environment and you should be dressing like it.
It's funny what people may consider like basic and bland
Yeah.
when you can look at that suit tag and it could be Dolce and Gabbana.
Right.
Like, it wasn't bland when I bought it.
Yeah.
Like, I just think about suits all the time when I think of like good corporate fashion. Like, there's ways to spice it up a little bit, but also it's about your job too. You're, like you said, being professional, and not all of the time you can't wear a big old chunky boot into the
Right.
law office and win a case.
Right.
That's just not what corporate
And, like,
America's about.
modesty. Like, you're not going to
I
pull
was
up to
doing-
work
Work
in,
at
like,
Vogue.
a crop top.
Exactly.
Like,
I agree. I
just
feel like
got it.
the work attire is kind of meant, if it's considered bland, it's because that's not the focus. Like, that's not why you're there. And I feel like if it's labeled as bland, it's so that it can kind of be a background in, like, what you're there to do, which is to work, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like corporate America dressing code. I mean, I worked in a music studio over the summer, and you can kind of wear whatever you wanted. So I like that because it was like, I don't know, in itself, yeah, you are there to work and do your job, but I feel like already you're not expressing yourself a lot, and just to kind of get it, like, you know, you don't have to dress like to the extreme, but just like a little bit more of flavor would be cool to kind of get a read on certain people. But I get the whole point of like is just trying to be as like not noticeable as possible, so that people will not just like be like, oh, I don't want to do like business with this person. Like when I once got dinner with someone and I had nail polish on, and my people I worked with like, you can't wear nail polish to this business meeting. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense, but like, you know, it's not ideal.
Clothing can be an effective form of activism.
Disagree.
I feel like just because you're wearing it, I feel like it depends the context, but it can be kind of seen as performative if all you're doing is just wearing something and you're not actually like contributing to any movement or to any change. But I do think that there, like, it does depend. Like, I know recently, like, some actors wore like red pins to support Palestine, I believe, and I feel like that's a little bit different because they're using their platform to draw attention to an issue, and that isn't as performative, I guess, but I think there's way more that you can do than just wear something.
I agree. I just like, yeah, if you're gonna wear like a pin or whatever, you're going to like, I don't know, like some sort of like march or something, like, yeah, I'll wear it. But like if you're wearing it to like class or like, I just feel like it's just too much. It's not needed. Like if you really want to say something, like post something on social media or like have a conversation with people you know and your friends, like
Yeah, I see it not as more of an everyday thing, like wearing something for activism, but like if you're going somewhere being an activist, I think it could be seen as respectful or
Yeah.
bringing awareness to a culture that you're, you know.
I definitely agree in that context,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
I'm changing my answer over here. I think there are good examples of people doing stuff with clothing to promote and successfully an activism. Like Denim Day is a huge example of like, you know, people using that to raise awareness for sexual assault, and that has done a great job and stuck around for like a long time. I was thinking more of just like graphic tees for whatever reason in that aspect of it, but there are ways to kind of fight against a culture in some sense by, you know, expressing yourself and using that instead of just being like, oh, some like slogan that you don't think about once like anything at all.
Yeah, that made me think of like the Black Lives Matter protest shirts. People wear those like every day. I think that brought a lot of awareness to it as well, and I think it could be very effective.
Yeah, I agree. I was swayed.
Me too.
It's okay to purchase clothing from fast fashion brands like Shein.
I can start. I feel like if you obviously the way it's produced is not ethical at all and is something that I don't support, but because of how like cheap it is and because of how cost effective it is for some people, they rely on sites like that to get clothing and to feel included in the trends. So I feel like it depends, but if you have the means to shop not in like a sustainable brand or away from fast fashion, by all means, I don't think it's acceptable to buy from those sites.
I totally agree. There's a lot of people want to be fashionable but can't afford it, and there's things on, say, Shein that are $2 that would regularly be like $2,000, and it's just a shirt. But I do disagree with like the work environment, what they do. But I wouldn't say buy your whole wardrobe from Shein, but maybe like one piece, 2 pieces.
Like, I feel like when people do fast fashion orders, it's like 30 pieces of clothing. I feel like you're not going to buy one shirt from Shein. It's like mass, big carts. And I just, like, it's just scary to me. Like, I don't know. I, like, wouldn't do it. But, like, sometimes, like, when I was younger, obviously I did it. But, like, now I think it's, like, I'm hyper aware of it. And, like, I don't know, a girl in like one of my art classes, she like did a piece on like whatever, like a Shein like kid writing help me, and I like was like, oh wow, that's scary. So I'm anti fast fashion.
Yeah, I feel like the quality from like stuff from Shein is like not great. Like I feel like I know people who like they didn't like the wash one time and like it just completely just becomes disheveled. Like I feel like there are alternatives. Like I mean, not to talk about thrifting again, but like especially not to go down that path again, but like especially now that's more in fashion and whatnot with like oversized clothing like and stuff. You can go to thrift stores and find stuff that are like in fashion. Like 80% of my wardrobe is like $4 and $5 pieces from thrift stores. Like you can do it. It's and it's sustainable, and it's, you know, it's not from I mean, maybe it was like a pipeline from some factory somewhere at some point in time, but you know, 20 years prior, so at least it's better. But I mean, like I get it, but like I feel like harder not to buy from.
I think it's I don't think we realize what is constituted as fast fashion, because even places like Zara are now being considered as fast fashion, and H&M and stuff like that. These are things like everyday people wear every day. So I don't know, that's why I'm neutral, because to a fault I think, okay, cool, it's accessible. Sometimes it's expensive, sometimes it's not. It's not really about the price, but I don't think people buy from Shein because it's cheap, affordable, and cute, and that's why it will continue to thrive. They're gonna like totally not look at the kids being abused.
Okay. Someone told you that the dinner party tonight is casual. It's okay to show up in a totally glamorous fit.
like definitely done that before, but like not in college.
I feel like it depends on what that group
Mhm.
defines glamorous as. I don't know what, I feel like everybody's definition is different. Now, if it's just like what we have on now and they consider that glamorous, I'm going to be like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
But, yeah. So that's why I'm in the middle. I feel like everybody should dress how they want to,
Yeah.
True.
but do not come looking like you're going to a funeral.
I
That's
feel
always my
like,
mom.
yeah, I just think that I wouldn't, just because, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of, and I'm saying, like, if everyone's in jeans and you're, like,
Stunting in a club
stunting,
dress.
yeah, or something like
That
that,
would never happen though.
I feel like, I don't know, it's just something I wouldn't do because I feel like there is implications with what you wear, especially in the context, and I feel like that just comes off as, like, feeling superior and a little bit snobby, so I would not. But it depends. If I was, like, with my friends, I feel like it's fine. But if it was, like, a dinner party with people I didn't know, I would definitely abide by the dress code.
I feel like the opposite. I feel like it was people I don't know. Like, I don't know who could be there. Like, my future husband could be there. So I'm stunting a little bit. I don't
True, you
know.
gotta capitalize.
I gotta
Yeah.
capitalize. I don't know. Look good, feel good.
True.
That's
Like
true.
I would say like it depends on the group. Like my friends in high school, like if we had like a dinner party, like my best friend and I sometimes would just like wear a suit just to, like just for the bit of it all, and just be like, oh, what time it is, like whatever, and you like, oh, have a watch on, which for me was fancy at the time. So I was like, oh, and it was funny to us, but I don't know.
Most students on the University of Michigan campus have struck a nice balance between individuality and conformity in terms of their clothing and style.
Okay, so I'll be the first one to talk. So I go to, like, I'm in art school, so I see, like, everything. So I think, like, I don't know, like, I'm not one to judge people, but, like, just wear what you want to wear. Like, I feel like it's not that, like, obviously you're not going to see, like, raw students because I'm in, like, the business school, too, so I see, like, the duality of both. And so, like, it's just different, and, like, you can just do what you want, and it's fine, and it's cool. And I love seeing, like, people, like, who are so out there at stamps and, like, being themselves. So, yeah. I don't think there should be a balance. I think people should just do what they want.
Well, I, like, looked at balance in a way that it's, like, a mixture of both, and I feel like there definitely is. I feel like there's people who go to class in sweats, and there's people who go to class and dress up, and there's those who, like, are sticking with the trends of the time, and those who are not doing so and still looking great. So I feel like I mean, everyone can wear what they want to class. It's what makes you feel good.
Yeah, everybody has a different definition of comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a perfect balance of everything, but I think everybody expresses themselves in the way they dress, whether it's sweatpants or jeans.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it totally depends on the person. Like someone could look at this and go, wow, this guy looks fucking ridiculous, or like, I love his outfit. Like, I don't know. It's very, like, fashion is very subjective.
Yeah.
So, like, what did you think of today's conversation? Did you learn anything? Any takes that surprised you? Concluding thoughts.
I mean, that was really fun. I came in here thinking I was going to rate Five Guys' outfits, but no one really told me. But it was a lot of fun, and, like, I think every single person has, like, very open mind here today, and we all were able to have, like, a fluid conversation, and everyone was knowledgeable in their own way, so I was excited to come here and talk about fashion.
I was very surprised at the baggy pants statement. Sorry. I'm a very big neutral baggy skinny, so that was disappointing. But other than that, I think it was really cool to come and hear everybody else's opinions on fashion. I'm used to just my own in my head all the time, so it was really cool.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I stand behind my baggy jeans statement. Like, if you saw my roommate Nathan, sorry Nathan, wherever camera that is, not to put you on the spot here, but if you're seeing this is your message and your warning. I did take him shopping, but you need more baggy pants. And then maybe, you know, we could take you and you could get some skinny jeans.
Nathan's pants are just too small. They're not skinny.
I mean, they're okay, yeah, but they're essentially the same thing when you get to that. When you're like, you know, he's him legs, man. You know, should see his ass in those jeans. It's doing it for me, but I'm sorry, Anne, his girlfriend. But all right, yeah, a lot of fun. This is great. You know, I love talking about fashion, even if I'm not the most knowledgeable. I just like putting stuff on and seeing if I like it. And you guys all seem very knowledgeable on stuff, and it was cool to hear you guys' opinions, and all really cool people. And just, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a really fun experience to express my opinion and hear others on fashion and the questions. And I think it was really eye-opening too, especially when you brought up like the different like clothing movements that align with like social movements and how like people use clothing to express that. That really swayed me. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.